この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo, and I am here today for Mushoku Tensei. We are leaping straight into this one. I'm leaping straight out of bed into this one, and we're also going to leap pretty straight into it because there are only a couple of things to talk about here at the beginning, so I'm going to actually try to keep it confined under a couple of minutes and not let it spill out to be a 20-minute intro. He says, smiling, hoping that he's not about to have to edit a 20-minute intro. So, last time on Mushoku Tensei, we bought a slave! That's a phrase. Julie has joined our squad and is Anoba's friend and apprentice? Person who makes things for him. Her magic is being utilized for him. The implications that has for, like, labor and all the ideas around that, crazy. The issues that has for slavery and stuff, crazy. Apparently, Figurine has been getting some heat on the Twitter, now X. On the X, on Xer? On Tweeto? What the fuck do I... Alright, Moskwa. Apparently Figurine has been getting some flack for saying, quite blandly, I was actually really shocked by this. I had heard, there's been so much controversy over Figurine said a thing and about Rudy's opinions toward slavery, and it's, like, really dark. So, I asked somebody to send it to me, and they sent it to me, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think Rudy really hates slavery. He's just not sure about the whole concept, partly because he comes from a different place and has seen that some slaves get treated really badly and some don't, so he's just not sure about it. That's basically the tweet, and people are exploding over it, which is really interesting. Like, what are you gonna do if you enter into another society? Are you gonna run around being like, my moral preconceptions must be imposed upon all of you? Really? Come on, guys, come on. No. Even if you did come from a forward-thinking modernist society where slavery is like, that's probably not good, even if you had the effective, like, solid framework for judging the moral efficacy of slavery as a practice, either on the individual scale or on the broad scale, as I delineated in broad terms last episode, even if you've got all of that, how are you going to be so certain? You're going to go into another world in the midst of a story that is entirely about flipping preconceptions on their head, because that's what it's about, right? And you're going to judge their practices based on your conceptions of reality? I don't know about that. I think Rudy's perspective of, like, hands off, don't know what's going on here, man, is pretty fair. I think if you spend some time thinking about it, you might come to the conclusion, hey, this slavery thing, probably not great. What are you going to do about it? In circumstance, you're gonna go, I think as one commenter said, apeshit Rambo and, full mega murder everybody who's integrated in the slave trade? Like, everybody? Crazy. So, that's pretty interesting that whole micro-controversy is happening. It feels like hot air to me. It feels like absolutely nothing. Like, come on, guys, there's real slavery in the real world right now. You want controversy? Talk about that. Come on. Seriously. How about outsourced labor? Easy. How about literal, actual, real slavery of children? Fuck. Real. Yeah. How about human trafficking? It exists. How about sex slavery? Totally exists. All over the place. Child sex slavery even. You can just keep tacking stuff on. You want bad shit in the world? Why are you looking at the fiction? Why are you looking at the fantasy? The fictional story about overcoming difficulties and creating stuff. Take the one hint from the story and go out into your real world, not your fucking screen where you're angry all the time, but your real world where you can have an impact and try to change things a little bit. Good luck. I don't know how you're going to do it. Got no plans for you. It's not my prerogative, not what I would do. I do that by talking about the media. That's my goal. My goal is to try to talk about the media and say, hey, this is pretty interesting. Maybe it could impact your real life. That's my whole game. So we bought a slave. There are interesting things about that. I don't know about repercussions yet, but maybe. What are we coming up to? We are coming up to a Beast Girl focused episode. The episode was something about the kidnapping and confinement of Beast Girls. Hot? Maybe not hot. Maybe slavery. Not so hot. Although, I did express a couple of times that I thought that this episode would probably be something around the lines of, like, well, there are these cute beast girls, and there's this slave trade. Beast girls. Slave trade. Beast girls? Slave trade. You know? Like, click clack. And some people laughed at me for it. I wasn't supposed to see it, but they did. They were like, this fucking idiot thinks that the slavers are gonna capture the beast girls. He has no idea. So, my current circumstance is that I have no idea what's going to be going on in the next episode, except that probably slavers are not going to capture the beast girls, and Rudy's probably not going to heroically save them and get big titty snoo from it. So that route to fixing his erectile dysfunction is out the window, unfortunately, because that seemed like the best route. I mean, really, what's gonna solve your problem better than a big titty beast girl? Huh? It runs in the family! The Grey Rats love that shit. You gotta tap into your genetic history, into your biological memory of loving animal girls. Weirdo. Okay, the show has been continuously getting better in terms of its production quality, and I expect that trend to continue, especially given the first frame of the episode, which I'm looking at right now, which looks fucking gorgeous. Thank God! Hey, we got a Mushoku Tensei! It's back, right? Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Maybe it'll fall off a cliff in the next episode, and we'll be like, no. Maybe Cliff will fall off a cliff, and I'll be like, yay! I don't know. Gosh, yeah. More Mushoku, let's watch it. We did it. I did it. It's still 7 minutes. It's still 7 minutes. I still have to trim down the intro. Okay. I've got episode 7 of Mushoku Tensei up and ready to go. We're gonna watch it. It's the Mott Bob version. Hopefully that's a good thing. I don't know. Beast girls are gonna get confined and kidnapped by somebody. We'll find out how everything progresses as we move along with things. I'm still waiting for the plot to happen. Because we've been here. We've been chilling. We've been sort of romancing. A little bit. Sort of not aware of it. Not quite certain that he's romancing, but it is happening. Been talking to people. Been learning things. Been studying teleportation. Where's Nanahoshi? Where's big cataclysmic explosions of doom? Where Turning Point? When Turning Point? I don't know. Let's find out. Mushoku Tensei episode 7 is up and ready to go. 2 versions, picture-in-picture, in the description. Timer on YouTube, beep timer. Let's get into it. Early access on the Patreon. Check it out. Yes. Yes. The things, they look good. Is this her? Is this Sylphie's space? Damn, what a room. Gems everywhere. Crystals all over. Well, that's super useful. Plop. I guess you don't have sinks, right? Yeah, nobody has running water. Hip, hop, hip. Oh, her running morning routine. Okay. Hip, hop, yeah. He's gonna notice that she's female, right? So we're in a Sylphie perspective? This is a very different perspective on her. Literally what he does in her shoes. Ha ha! And he runs by the background. Ah, I already know all of this because Rudy's a beast. Simple physical explanations for magical things. Oh. I wonder what's on Sylphie's mind. Ah. She knows all the paths because of running. Man, that's like the first thing Luke has said in a while. Oh, interesting. He just blames it on the bloodline. Huh, I wonder what that means. Hey, wait! mm, mm. Whoa, we're thinking about marriage? Oh. Oh, Paul! Paul, you're cock blocking me from history. From the past, dude. God. It seems like it has, Sylph. Ask and you shall be answered. What is it that I'm hoping for? mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you fallen. You fell hard, dear. Sorry. Sorry, Syl. So then, of course, that mirrors that because it's all the feminine in its own way. Ah! It's pretty great. Bye. Poof. So brutal. Damn. Run every morning. Not sure where I got the routine, but I'm gonna keep doing it. Still have to meet that one. Maybe this episode. Maybe next episode. Where are you, Nanahoshi? Down below the school. Has to be somewhere, right? Ah. Oh, and then incantationless. Okay, cool. But she did. So it's teachable completely as long as it's from an earlier age. This is why Sylphie can do it. Daisuke! Julie is a fast girl. He just wanted an emoto. Oh. That makes sense. Oh. Oh, and Zanaba's... No, that should have been Zanaba's sister. He said emoto. Are we gonna teach her the bad stuff now? Uh, uh. Let me teach you all about it. Look! The immaculately pointed points! Shisho! It's broken. You broke it. You broke it. You broke it. Oh. Ah! The perfect Roxy figure! I'm just gonna leave. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Can it be fixed? Oh. So it's their fault. Is that where we're going? What did they wager? What did you duel for? You wagered that and they broke it. I lost. Okay. This is super expressive. Oh my god. The darkness looms. Oh, yeah, now they die. So that's where we're going with this? This is gonna be a punishment game? Which is what you were threatened, what actually happened episode 1, isn't it? All of Zanaba's expressions all throughout are amazing. Oh, here they go. I think, well, apparently one of them says Fakunano instead of Nya. Huh. Yo, what did he bet the figure for? That's your fucking comeback? They're not dolls, they're figures. They're figures. I got this. Oh no. Oh no, he's being nice. Oh no. This is where it gets weird. Now you've messed with the bullies. Ooh. Look, I know your dad. Yes, you've intimidated me so much. So intimidating. Oh, wow. Yeah. You fucking excuse me? Hot. Uh-oh. What was she about to do? No. Ow. The equivalent of a bink. Actually, yes, he is a grappler. He's hyper still. Ping! Patoing. What? He's gonna carry them away? Guys. Guys, this looks really bad. Guys, this looks really bad. Yep, this looks bad. Oh, it's rock. Holy shit. Humu humu. Wow. Wow. Just as a matter of course. So that's pretty fucked. I was just checking something. Twitch. So wrong. That's pretty wrong. No! They have no idea. Yeah! Ahem. Huh? Hey? Oh my god, he's got the shrine. Dude, no. You can't take that and bring it out and be like, this makes sense. Is he making it glow? This is the best. This is ridiculous. I don't give a fuck about your stupid figure. Oh, you're just gonna throw each other under the bus now. Yeah, let him have it. Shut up! Ah, Batsu. No! Wait, who? My dad? You know my dad? Yeah, it was a problem. Are you threatening to do the same? Awful. This, just in terms of the voice acting, has been amazing. Right? With what magic? What the fuck? Wait, what? No, he could totally. You're right. What the fuck? Oh, huh. I guess I still have to punish them or something. They still? No. That's not it, man. Oh, no. Well, I mean, it was like that, but not like that, because it couldn't be like that, because I can't do like that. But I was like that, but it wasn't like that. It was like that, but it wasn't. Please help. I have confined students. So not too humiliating. I think you've already done it. Oh well, might as well. Much trust. Yeah! You locked them in a room for... Oh, she's always hungry. Alright, maybe we just let them go. Maybe we just let them go. Still not working. Eh. Okay. Oh, God. I'm good. You know what? We're their boss now? Hmm. It's about to be. Bossu. Okay, go ahead with the punishment then. Which is to paint them. Oh my god. Even if after it washes off or fades? Brutal. I got an eye stolen by a demon. You know. Did he just bring that up for fun? Yeah, King Ogilenu. Oh, wait. Yeah, they're related. Figure! Figure! It's not a doll, it's a figure. I think everybody got carried away. Holy crap. Yeah, we made it up. That is a great idea. That is a great idea. A harmless prank. No! No! You don't have a clue, dude. Aww, and she's in his room. It rattles? Aw, she's in his bed. You might get killed, man. Dangerous game. But probably not. Not going to? Not did it? Mm-hmm. Oh, you were gonna. Ja. A door unopened. Yeah, the world might have changed, man. Yeah, I think you would have known. I think she wouldn't have been able to hold it in either. Oh, that was tense. And there's our episode. That was very funny. That was a very funny, very fun episode. It plays on the line with with like, is this okay? No, absolutely not. Many layers of not, but exceptionally humorous, really fun. And I think the voice acting all the way through was top tier. might be a few Freudian slips. in this discussion for slightly obvious reasons. So they're gonna be homies now, huh? Kind of. At least they'll respect him a little bit. Lonely Fitz. It really nails this, like, not knowing, this pining, this wanting, this yearning sort of feel for Sylphie. It really nails it. It's amazing. It's amazing. The slow burn of the romance is really growing on me. Yeah, he's gonna walk away. Little place where they said, "What's next?" Not a turning point, right? The Fiancé of Despair? Okay. That sure is a weird title. If I knew kanji, I'd want to plug that into somewhere and check and see if that's correctly translated, because that seems weird. But maybe it will be. Maybe it has to do with, Princess Ariel. Fiancé sort of thing? Maybe it's something like that. Maybe not. I don't know. Okay. Overall take on the episode: exceptionally fun and funny and goofy. And fun and funny and goofy. And I'm down. I'm down. I'm okay with that. It was pretty fun. We gained some followers in terms of Presenia and Lilia. They'll be our friends now, I guess. With, compulsion. But our friends now, I guess. We do a lot of atmosphere and tone setting in the episode, which I think is lovely. The morning run from Sylphie is such a nice sequence. It's so cute, in part because it's peppered all the way through with thoughts of Rudeus. She can't get through like 5 minutes of her day without thinking of Rudeus, without thinking of those things that Rudeus taught me, or that thing that I wonder what Rudeus is doing at this time of day, or maybe Rudy would do something like this. She just cannot do it. And is beginning to recognize in herself that there's this, like, there's something going on in me that I'm not consciously in control of. Like, this is weird. And that's it, right? That's it. That's the thing, is that love or romance is something external from us that takes power over us, moves us in directions that we don't expect or understand. And it's kind of beautiful, kind of amazing, and really, really cool to me that comes through, because I think that really comes through. And I think that as we went into the ED and see all those scenes of Sylphie standing there looking out at Rudeus, it all sort of clicks to me. It's like, oh, this is what we're doing. This like, it's not even will they, won't they, but like from her perspective, it's like, can I even? And that's like so potent. It's so potent. It's not just will they, won't they, but if I, then what? If I show my truth to him, then what? Everything will be different. Yeah, everything will be different. And that's scary. And that fear really wraps into that last moment of the episode where Rudy's just like, wow, something just happened there that I didn't open that door, and that door would have gone somewhere, and I don't know where. And we narratively know that would have gone somewhere. Oh. Like, how that leads to not recognizing her, I don't know. This room is so cool, all the sparkles everywhere. If they hook up for the first time, it should be in this room, not that room. Just saying. Just saying. I really like the space. I really like the manifesting of water for morning ablutions. I think that's super cute and right on. And I think that all of the framing of this moment, early morning sunlight has a particular tonality to it, a particular feel to it. I can actually show you a little bit of what I mean just by doing this. I've got my window partially. Ta-da! And then here, no natural light. No natural light. Okay, difference. There's this like whitish, very light blue sort of glow to everything that occurs with natural light, especially in the early morning. And they nail it. It's coming in through the window, and they nail it. It's all over her face and in her accents and in her highlights and in the color grade of everything in the frame. This is atmosphere building. This is making it so that you feel like you are at the time and place that Sylphie is at right now. Right? Expressions. This is the same as something that I mention frequently. There's a scene in one of the KyoAni shows where a bunch of girls are on a bus, and one of them whoosh opens the window, and the wind blows in, and their hair goes wah, right? And it's a moment that you've experienced something close to. Opening a window, or a car door, or something with wind blowing in, or a bus window, and you know that feeling enough to get the that's me. The I'm there out of it. And the same goes here. You know what cold water splashed on your face in the morning light feels like. Everyone does. It's not unique. But the ability to express it on frame and make you feel it, that's special. That's more special. And it is. Stretch, go. She's really, if she's going to wear just a shirt out, she's got to bind her chest. I don't mean this to be weird or anything, but, like, I would immediately notice that Sylphie is female. Like, immediately would notice that Sylphie is female. When she's wearing the multiple layers of robes, not obvious at all. Simple t-shirt, super obvious. And she goes and gets her hat. The moment where she puts the hat on is so cute. Okay. All the blink, the movement, the hair, the way the little hairs flip, the way it all collapses, the way that it all folds back onto her head as she pulls it down. The shadow is perfect. Everything about that frame is, like, perfect. It's, like, perfect. We back, baby. We back. And it continues to be all throughout the episode, I think. It's all pretty darn good. As she runs around these locations, it all looks pretty good. It all feels pretty good. And we get this distinctly Sylphie perspective as she goes around all these spaces, thinking about Rudy. And he's literally running through her mind all the time. How good can you get? How right on can you be? Yes, magic, Rudy. Magic, Rudy. School, Rudy. Running, Rudy. It's like every few beats, you gotta think of a Rudy. The way that Fitz explains this to Ariel is like unto the way that Rudy was explaining things before. It's a practical explanation for a magical circumstance. You take hot stone, put it in water, and it creates steam. That's how the spell works. Heat plus water equals steam. Using simple things to explain more complicated things is great, but the most important part of it is that it reflects back on Rudy, and she can't stop thinking about Rudy, and that's really cute. Okay. Shortcuts, things to find, very good. Built like a maze because its location was so vulnerable to invasion feels like a setup, and interesting. And the fact that Fitz knows the layout of the city exceptionally well might be crucially important as we move forward. For example, finding a secret lair or base where a Nanahoshi might be. Or tracking someone down in the city, or something goes wrong and we have to, all sorts of things this can be very useful for and is a very important setup. Must have been a girl I was dating, and he says, I can't help it, I have the Noto's blood in me. My guy, you're ruining somebody else's day here. Because you're making Sylphie think that Rudy's a big fatty pervert, and he is. Isn't he from the same family? Yes. And she stops and can't think about it. Would he still chase them? Even if he got married? To me? Can't stop thinking about it. Looking at her wand. What am I hoping for anyway? And a little shining light. And a blush, and she has to turn away. Oh gosh, I can't. And we have the perfect contorted internal turmoil of young budding love. Oh, it's beautiful. God, it feels like high school. It feels like high school, baby. You know how many high school romance shows I've seen that totally fail at this? Totally fail at this shit. At any any part of the internal turmoil and freak out that is living as an adolescent. God, so many of them suck at this. So many of them suck at this. There are a few that are pretty good, though. Araburu Kisetsu Otomedomo Yo was the best that I've seen. Fantastic. Absolutely soul-crushing is what that was. Man, this gets it. This gets it for me. This does the thing for me. It does the, yep, I'm 14 again, considering whether to ask the girl that I am obsessed with out. And I don't know how. Gets me right back there, and it's great. It's great. Can't relive that any other way. Don't want to relive it ever. Oh, God. But, you know, man, it really nails a real beat. And it's from Sylphie's perspective, of course, right? It's not from Rudy's perspective, and that's so fascinating for this whole episode. Rudy has ED throughout all of this. Rudy acquires 2 hot, young, willing Beast Girl servants? Friends? Underlings? I don't even know. Hot and willing, literally. And cannot and will not act on it because of his physical circumstances. This is some clever writing. It's some clever writing. You compact all this stuff into this arc, and you make Rudy have erectile dysfunction throughout it, and it wipes the slate clean. You don't have to worry about it. You're able to have this honestly pure romance with Fitz on 2 levels. 1, Rudy doesn't realize that it's a romance going on because Fitz is a boy. And 2, he can't follow up on a romance anyway because he doesn't have a PiP. And he can't cheat or chase other girls or do any of the things that his proclivities would lead him to do. He's forced to be celibate, essentially. So he's simultaneously experienced because of the experience with Eris, traumatized because of the experience with Eris, and he's back to being near virginal, inexperienced, useless because of the dysfunction. It's really amazing. It's really amazing. I would have never seen this set of plot points come at us. It's really interesting to me. And it really does work. And it serves to enable some weird shit, which we're going to get to. Julie is here and is doing great and is learning incantationless casting, which is pretty cool. It proves the whole theory that we had earlier that 1, mana pools expand exponentially when you're trained early, and 2, incantationless casting is not like genetically determined. It's just a skill you have to learn early. So, that's pretty neat. It means that he could teach this to other people, and most people don't think this is possible at all. In fact, Rudy knows something that most of the magic tutors and textbooks don't know about this world at all. They all think that mana is determined at birth, and it's not. And it's not. How fucking freeing is that? It's extraordinary. It's extraordinary. Everybody in this world is going around saying, guess what? Your IQ is determined at birth, effectively, right? Your IQ is determined at birth, and nothing you can do changes it. That's the world that we live in right now. Right now, at present. This is like somebody finding out that if you listen to Mozart when you're a baby, your IQ actually does go up by 20 points. Like 20 points. Taking you from mid-average to able to be a computer programmer. That's the difference between 100 and 120 on the IQ scale. It's like dramatic. It's big, right? The difference between an essentially non-magician and an incantationalist caster, like potentially saint level plus magician. Huge. Huge difference. If you could pitch that in the modern day to parents, they'd be paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to put their kids through that sort of process. Rudy's got a job right now if he wants it. He should be going to all the noble families and saying, hey, when you have a kid, when they turn 3, let me train them for a year. I'm going to teach them how to incantationlessly cast 1 spell, and their mana pool will double, and they'll be able to incantationlessly cast for life. They'll be a primo magician for their entire life, right? Like, I will boost their chances of getting into an Ivy League school by 50% at birth. Take my money! Take my money! It could also totally change the face of the world. Casters are probably, to my estimation, the most valuable resource on this planet, right? You can reshape stone. You can make water. You can do anything, right? You can make fireballs. Okay. immensely valuable resource. More of them. Better at it. Yes! Yes, economically, this is necessary. Somebody needs to go find Rudy and fucking put a gun to his head and be like, train everyone. Train all the children in our fucking country so that we're the best. And then in 20 years, we're just gonna take over the world. Long game. Long game. Easy. God, that'd be crazy. But she pulled it off in just 1 month. Yeah, she's great. Daisuke! Super cute. Julie's very cute. I like that a lot. And he's continuously taking care of her as though she is truly an Imoto, which is good. And I think it has an argument. I think there's an argument here. Zanaba's a weird pervert, right? Yeah. You put a little girl in front of him with complete power over her. She's a slave, right? Expectations are not great there, right? I think expectations there are not great. Even if you like Zanaba, even if you think he's a moral person or a good person, essentially adult adolescent human who is definitely a fucking pervert, tiny female child under complete control of his, weird power dynamic, problems might occur. What actually happens? His, protect instinct is, exploded, and he's like, must protect child, and nothing untoward happens. I think that's more likely. I genuinely think that's more likely. That is not to discount that there are significant dangers about putting adults in charge of children. Seriously. There's always a power dynamic problem. It is definitely scary. But I think more often it ends up in this direction. I really do. I really do. I think most people like kids and want to protect kids and want people to do well. I think, so how do I put this? I think that as legitimate as the fear of abuse is, and it is very legitimate, I think that it pervades our society in a way that's deleterious, that's harmful, because healthy relationships between adults and children make healthy children. They make healthy children. And I think there's a distinct tendency to be, and for good reason, I understand the reason, but to be very afraid, especially in dynamics where it's adult or an adolescent or older males in teaching positions or childcare positions or anything like that. And yeah, it's dangerous. Yes, things happen, but I don't know. I'll say it this way. I'd like to believe in a world where almost every time you take a young man and you put him in charge of a girl who needs help, and he'll help her and not abuse her. I'd like to believe in that world. I don't know if it's true though. I hope it is. But then at the same time, I see stories of terrible abuse on Reddit or in forums, and so maybe I don't know. I don't know. It just strikes me as very intentional that this relationship is placed this way. And the branding and the phrasing that he uses right after, where he says she's my apprentice and Zanaba's Imoto, right? She's part of the family and the group now. It's not like that. Still, that element is odd because it's well, it stinks to me of the good slave owner sort of idea, which was pervasive in the South during slavery and in most slave owning societies, as far as I know. Yeah, of course there are abusive, bad slave owners, but me, no, I'm a good slave owner. I treat them well and give them food and water, right? I'm a good slave owner. I let them marry who they want, right? They're still slaves. I still own their children, but they can marry who they want, and I don't rape them every week, So that makes me good. That shit reeks to me. It's that's disgusting. You're using You're using a tiny concession in order to justify huge immorality. So this doesn't feel great, even if you put it in the perspective that many of those slave owners would, and you're like, no, they're our family. We treat them like family. She's my little sister, part of the family. We give them our name. We give them our last name and make sure that they speak the language and teach them how to read like their family that we own. It's like, I don't know. You can see it however you want. You're still a slave owner. It doesn't work. So this thing with like, we're not going to brand her or mark her with a burning dog collar. That would be cruel. Yeah, you still own her, man. Don't pat yourself on the back too much, right? Yeah. I'm pretty iffy on the whole Julie thing. She's cute, and it's fun, but it's super fraught. It's super fraught. That's a slave child. Come on, we can't get away from it. We went and bought that human. Dwarf, humanoid, whatever. She isn't a slave, though, but she is. She's my apprentice, and Zanaba's... He says it translates junior disciple, but it's Zanaba's Imoto is what he says. So I don't know. I think it should be Imoto. Then, one day, disaster struck. I love him going on and on about how amazing Rudy is. It's pretty awesome. And we're going to get some facial sequences from Zanaba as we reveal the Roxy thing that I think are spectacular. The little cuts to sweaty, shaky bits and then cut back are so fucking funny. The overexpressed faces of Zanaba are almost on the tier of like Rudeus' angry faces. You remember the Rudeus' angry? It's like that, but super goofy. The little moments where Julie reads the room and just like bye, he goes and hides behind Zanaba are amazing. Rudy with like glowing angry eyes or just the solemn fucking smile, amazing. All of the expressions and voice acting throughout this whole sequence are great, but we're going to talk about voice acting once we get to the Prosinia Lilia scene, because I think they do amazingly. And there's one sequence that I think is my favorite in the episode, and we'll talk about it. I keep calling her Lilia. It's Linnea, isn't it? Yeah, it's Linnea. Okay. Just hard cut sweat. You know that gif of like the dude is just dripping down his face throughout. Zanaba. It's amazing. Well, liar. So these the voice actor kills it all the way through. It's so good. And the camera's like Papa, pumping in. Here. And then I think when he begins to actually express himself and gets very Here. That I still actually have to watch this whole movie. I haven't seen the whole movie, but I've seen some frames of it. I've seen some scenes of it. Mind Game is a movie that exists, and there's some animated faces in it that are really weird, and they really remind me of that. Let me see if I can just find a clip. Actually, do I have it downloaded? I think I have it downloaded. I do. It's SpotBob, too. Okay, one sec. Okay, so I'm just grabbing a frame of this where there's some facial stuff that looks weird. Stuff like this. You know, yeah, it's reminiscent to me. I don't know who animated the actual Zanaba sequence, but I like it. I think it's really expressive. So we find out the truth, of course, what has really happened, and who is really responsible. Well, don't worry about it. Let's go and deal with the problem. And so we run into the problem. Rudy full posing like I am justice is very funny. Just because of the whole circumstance, right? He's here to berate them for breaking his figurine, right? But he's here and he's like, you have wronged me, women. Amazing. So good. Hey, what are you looking at? Total classic Yankee bullshit, Garu character stuff. Hey! You stupid idiots! Yeah, I'll show you! I love them. I love them so much now. I didn't like them very much, and now I do. Ooh-wee. Oh my god, right. Shisho, let me. No. They can't do anything alone. And he just starts needle. Get it? Then get lost, right? Like you've done it. And so realizing that he needs to really push them further, he goes straight after the racism. He goes straight for it. Ah, stupid beast people can't even speak the English, can you? Har har har. And we're off. The water drops and we're on. Shh. Ah. This whole sequence is great, and she takes off. Ah. I thought she was gonna and like cause something serious to happen here. I'm not really sure what is going to happen there, or is she blocking her mouth and nose so that she doesn't get dirt on her? I'm not sure. Anyway, the ability to see is really cool, and she's breathing back as though she's gonna do something, and then he puffs dust in her face. I don't understand what she's gonna do. Is she gonna howl? I don't understand what she's planning to do here. But anyway, roosh, rush. And this scene is pretty fun. Blam! And the tail goes straight out behind her. Captured. And we take our opportunities to be as perverted as we like to. Take a look. But again, there's something odd about it. Rudy actually doesn't get any pleasure out of this, does he? There's something really interesting there. Like, this scene is one way if Rudy looks at her panties and is like, oh yeah, right? He's normal, doesn't have ED, looks at her panties and is like, oh yeah, panties. That puts him in the like pervy protagonist realm where we're like vicariously getting off through the character. That's not what's happening here though. It's like he feels he should. We get all the humiliation and none of the benefit. It's like he feels like he should take the opportunity, just 'cause. It's habit, almost. Very interesting that it's almost like a habituated thing. Zanaba going after her. He is a grappler, actually, and pachoing, patang, done, and bound up in a sack. Easily done. Alright, this looks bad. Why does this look bad? Because it is bad. Because it is. Tied up 2 young women and kept them in his room and then did grope their breasts. So again, this hits that weird mode where it's like, this would be a materially different scene if Rudy were like, oh yeah, titty. I don't ever get to feel titties. But it's also, he wouldn't do it, actually. If Rudy was capable of getting horny right now, I don't think he would grope the girls. Because that's actually not what he's going for. It's not what he's trying to do. That's so weird. I don't know how to think about this scene. I don't know how to think about it because it doesn't fit with the normal standardized like set of compunctions. Throughout season 1, for example, Rudy is constantly like being drawn toward titties. He's like being pulled toward sexuality. Eris is there and he's like, oh, I can't help but look, I'm pulled toward it, compelled by it, right? And then you get Eris being like, hey, no. Okay, and then Rudy eventually internalizes the hey, no. And here, he's not compelled by it at all. He's literally pure, unhorny, curious about the medical, whether it will change him. And it doesn't. That's so strange. I really don't know what to think about it. I don't have a conclusion for this. I'm just wondering about it. I'm just throwing it around and bouncing this idea around. I don't know. It's weird, though. Yeah, that's squishy, but it doesn't do the thing. I guess it's like the opportunity, an expression of what it might be like to be asexual. Because I cannot imagine it, right? When I see a human being, either they are sexual to me or not, and generally if they're not, it's because they turn me off, And generally, if they are, it's because they turn me on. And so it's very rare that there's any sort of neutral, really. Unless it's like totally out of age bracket and unconsidered. There's always some degree of magnetism, push-pull. But nothing at all. Ah, that's interesting. It reminds me of, psychologically, the way that we see is we see in discrete objects, right? I don't see all the atoms of the world. I see this is a water bottle, and I don't even see it as a water bottle. I see that's a tool that I could reach out and grab and drink water from. It's like utility to me. And it's got meaning, and I've got an emotional bond to it. Having this around makes me somewhat comfortable because I know that I've got water nearby. Stuff like that. It's like all intrinsically related. And the same is true for body parts, bodies, physical features. Like a breast, to me, is not just a breast, right? It's not. It's got all these layers of patterned ideas, of expectations and relationships and connections to that idea of the object. It's not just a squishy thing, right? It's something else. But to Rudy in this moment, and perhaps to an asexual person in reality, it might just be a squishy thing. He knows consciously that it should do something different to him, but it doesn't. It's just there. Same with the panties. It's like, I know that consciously this should do something to my internals, right? I spent 30 years as a Hikinito dreaming of the day when I would get to see a cute Gyaru's panties, right? And now I am seeing them and it does nothing. I know that it should be different, but it's not. What? What is happening here? Super interesting. Can't relate. Can't relate. But again, we get that circumstance where even if I can't relate to it completely, I can begin to understand it because the show is so good at expressing. Really interesting. My newborn son's first cry of joy. And then the absolute shock when he lets go. And they're like, what? That's it? Yeah, that's it. Because this isn't what you expect. And Rudy isn't doing what you'd think he's doing here. People are going to be all over this scene. And for good reason. It's weird. And it's definitely wrong. Like, morally, ethically, it is super duper wrong to capture these two girls, tie them up, put them in your room, grope them, all of the things that are done here. Especially to leave them for a day so that they piss themselves and feel fucked up. That's pretty fucking cruel. It's pretty fucking cruel and pretty wrong. But it sure is weird. It sure is a weird framing. Just a little experiment, and literally is. No idea why they're here. The punishment doesn't make sense. It's like rubbing a cat's face into poop an hour after they've pooped. They don't even understand what you're doing. Doesn't make any fucking sense. And his explanation of Roxy is hilarious. Does he make this glow? Does he actually put glow here to like Pulp Fiction it? I don't know. Finally, I understand. And do you have anything to say for yourselves? And they immediately throw each other under the bus. And so we tear the mouthpiece off of them. And her thing, you said it was, and the guilty must be punished. But my favorite line is when Linnea says something like, I'll get there. You can grope her breast whenever you can. Yeah, you can. Wait, what? We'll get there. I love him bringing the power play of I know your dad. Really great. Really great. And threatening them with classic punishments. I don't care what happens to Linnea. Just spare me. Alright, who's Linnea? Who's doing this? Who you be, voice actress? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? There's Porcena, that's Minami Tanaka. Rinia de Doldia. Oh, that's Oh! It's Jolene! That's Fairouz! Until the I totally don't hear that. She's got the nya in there in the higher pitched voice. Oh my god, iFurus. That's crazy. That's Jolene. That's crazy. Rakushi. Rakushi. Huh? What the fuck are they doing? And then he realizes that he could actually repair it. And then has to come up with an idea. And we bring it all back to Fitz, which is great. The advice, which is great. The trust, which is great. A great idea. And his response is, whenever somebody says they've come up with a great idea, I usually distrust that, but it's you, so I guess. And this serves to build up the trust between Rudy and Fitz a little bit. He really does believe in Fitz. Very cool. So we discover that we may have made more of a mistake than intended. Yeah, you tie people up for long enough and it's gonna get a little nasty. Talk about humiliation. And they've just given up. Rough. So this is also interesting, certainly. Right. But then it does nothing for Rudy, which is interesting. It doesn't pick up on the fact that this does nothing to Fitz either. In fact, Fitz is totally and completely unfazed by two half-nude beast girls pissing themselves in his room. A little bit odd. And their response is anything but no babies. Gotta marry first. But you can touch the boobs. And that puts us back to the same point that we were at before, where I said, this is a really weird circumstance that would be way impossible to do. Totally impossible to do were it not for Rudy's erectile dysfunction right now. That he is incapable of engaging in these actually pursuing these sexual lines, which he would, if he were not, otherwise. Because of his trauma, he's not seeing all these opportunities. Well, he's seeing them, but he can't follow the path. Ends up being really fascinating. The world is open to you, but you can't say yes, kind of. Very weird. The little incantation trick is pretty great. Bye bye boss is pretty great. And apparently they're going to be our friends. And then there is just this really cute scene where Fitz-Sylphie goes around Rudy's room and is looking at all his things, right? Reacquainting herself with him. And lays on his bed and lays there. And they both think about taking the glasses off, taking the barrier between them away. Rudy doesn't know what it means, but Sylphie sure does. And when it comes down to it, she refuses. Will they get another chance? How long will it be? And will things get really strange? I don't know. But the whole scene is very tense and very somber and very cute. What would have happened? For some reason, I feel like there would have been no turning back. All the buildup is really good. The actual material of the episode mostly is just funny and fun and interesting. But then there's all this wibbly environment building and atmosphere creation and layers and layers and layers, and it's starting to take structure. Another good episode, at least production quality wise. Not the most bombastic or crazy or wow, big things happening in the world, and that's totally fine. Again, high school. And sort of handling some bullies, kind of. And doing a little bit of bullying, kind of. And certainly fulfilling what might be a common school fantasy of getting one over, pulling one over on the bully girls in a sexual way. It's a common fantasy in pornography. In hentai manga, it's pretty common. This sort of reversal thing. Or yeah. I think a lot of this is sort of I was wrapping out, but I've got an idea that I have to say. I think a lot of men like the idea of humbling a confident or arrogant woman. Especially sexually. And I think that this episode manages to hit that beat in a weird way that manages to stay away from it, again, because of the can't. But I think it does play on a lot of these aspects. It's like it's pulling on a bunch of like odd, sexual, somewhat perverse threads, and really like this episode should trigger some people in multiple directions, right? In multiple directions it should trigger some people, and I think that that's part of the point. This whole scene, I think, should make you very uncomfortable. But actually putting my finger on exactly why, on exactly how all of the elements shape up, is pretty difficult. I think it would be really easy to point at exactly what's going on here. Again, if this was exactly what we've seen many times. If Rudy is like, oh, titties, right? Okay. If it was like that, if it was Meliodas level, if it was horny, pervy protagonist, that's simple. That's straightforward wish fulfillment fantasy, right? And it is that sort of get one over on the girls who treat you poorly. It's kind of getting one over on the bullies from the deep and distant past, right? It's kind of the underdog who's had their precious thing destroyed, being like, getting their revenge, and it's kind of all those things all together. But as is, what is it? Not sure. What will it set up? Definitely not sure. Excited to find out. I don't have a problem with this episode. I like it. I found it very funny and very fun. I think a lot of people are going to have problems with this episode, and I look forward to seeing those comments. Hit me! And I'll see you next week for more Mushoku Tensei. Check out the early access on the Patreon. And I'll see you next week. Peace!